On the 21st of January 2012, a fall of ground fatality occurred in the North 3 Drive A, which subsequently led to an employee's untimely death, despite all attempts from first aiders and paramedics to stabilize and resuscitate him. In this video, we will be discussing the details of this incident. After a discussion involving the section manager, the decision was made to blast line 15 down deep to hole in Drive B. However, both these grounds were blasted simultaneously, which caused a much larger concussion. This practice is strictly forbidden and is in direct contravention of the standard operating procedure and caused Drive A to advance past the holding position. Despite the above safety breach, when both phases were examined by the early exam team at the start of the shift, they were declared safe for loading operations to commence, and so the two LHDs began loading the broken rock. Once the LHDs had removed the largest portions of broken rock, they then had to enter an area below a brow which had been previously exposed and supported by anchors. It was while loading broken rock underneath this brow that one of the LHD operators noticed that his vehicle had sustained a burst tire to the rear left. The driver attempted to reverse the vehicle out of the area, but the tire was too flat and the vehicle would not comply. As an alternate solution, he then decided to raise the LHD's bucket high enough to engage with the roof bolt next to the brow and push the vehicle out of the way. However, he was unsuccessful, and after a few more attempts, he gave up and turned the vehicle off. The LHD operator with the hose found that the LHD with the burst tire was blocking his way, and as a result, couldn't get under the brow to water down the rest of the broken rock there, despite there being a nearby sign clearly stating area declared safe for loading only, no other personnel to enter. The operator never wore his cap lamp on his hard hat. He also had been allocated to work elsewhere and was never meant to be there. He then requested that the LHD operator attempt reversing the vehicle with the burst tire out again, and again the LHD driver attempted pushing the vehicle out of the area by using the above roof bolt and brow as resistance. This action led to the loosening of rocks, and suddenly, and without warning, two large rocks dislodged from the unsupported brow above the LHD operator with the hose and struck him. The large rock, weighing approximately 170 kilograms, struck him fatally on the head. It was later determined that the LHD operator's hard hat had fallen off as he looked up at the rocks before being struck. He had also been holding the headlamp in his hand rather than leaving it attached to his hard hat, which would have helped balance the hard hat more effectively on his head. One of the rocks struck him on the right-hand side of his body, causing him to sustain a broken arm and leg. Let's look at how this LHD driver might have been saved if he'd been wearing his hard hat as is prescribed. The hard hat would have minimized the severity of the head injury, and he may have survived the ordeal. It was determined that the reason the two faces had initially been declared safe was because broken rock from the previous blast had made it impossible to enter underneath the brow in order to properly inspect the hanging wall. If this area had been inspected, it would have been noted that there were numerous loose rocks in the area that would have indicated poor bearing. Although the brow at the position of the incident had been supported with long anchors, the roof bolt spacing was substandard as well. Another observation made was that numerous marks found against the brow and hanging wall suggest that pressure placed onto it with the LHD shovel while attempting to use it as leverage to reverse contributed to the loosening rocks which had fallen and struck the now deceased. Now, let us go through the aggravating circumstances that led up to this accident. Declaring working places safe where substandard support was, disregard for adherence to rules pertaining to mining sequence, poor LHD handling practices in that the hanging wall and roof bolt was used as leverage to try and reverse the LHD with the burst tire out of the area, proceeding beyond the line of support, not wearing PPE as required according to standards, entering an area not declared safe for personnel. This just goes to show that not following mine standards is just not worth it. Now, let us look at the actions that will be initiated to prevent a repeat of this incident. Stop all mining operations until all investigations concerning the incident have been done. Train all operators regarding the risk involved when damaging the hanging wall when striking it with an LHD bucket. All operators to be re-instructed not to get out of their machines in areas being loaded. No person is allowed to enter an unsupported area or an area that has not been declared safe by a competent A person. Retrain of persons on correct way of wearing PPE. All operators to report any unsafe and areas to be watered down to their immediate supervisors. This type of tragedy doesn't just affect the immediate family. The sadness of this loss will live long in the hearts of his friends and colleagues. Thank you for taking the time to view this accident reconstruction presentation. I hope it will help you all to avoid future such incidents and to remain safe as you go about your work, allowing you to return home safely to your loved ones.